Hi, everyone. I hope you're all doing well and thanks for being here. This is another timeless reading that's for somebody out there. My intention is, as always, that it will find the people it's meant for and at the right time for them. It's definitely not intended to be a reading for everyone, so if the storyline that emerges isn't resonating with you, it's probably not your reading. You can still watch the whole video because it's always an intention of mine that anyone who's drawn to one of my readings will gain something from it. That could be an insight, a piece of wisdom, or just the opportunity to see something from a different angle. So if you happen to be here, I think you're meant to be here. All right, we'll get started shortly. I just tend to do a love pause at this point, which is where we pause the video and send some love out into the universe. You can also do a little Ho'oponopono prayer instead if you prefer, and that would be saying the 4 sentences: thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, and please forgive me. Thanks to everyone who takes part in this. The time to pause would be now, and I'll start my reading on the next slide. Right, so this here is the spread for this reading. If you're interested in the decks I've used, I will have them listed in the description box. Now, the card at the bottom of the deck is the Hermit, which relates to Virgo. This is someone who's pulled away from the world and their focus has really gone inwards. So this is a very introspective energy, so someone who's trying to get to the truth of who they are. I often think of someone who's also reflecting on the past and perhaps doing some healing and maybe some shadow work as well. So there might have been external circumstances that led to this person going into hermit mode, but sometimes it's just a feeling of non-alignment. So it's like people and environments that used to resonate just don't seem to resonate anymore. And I know I've had in my own lifetimes where I've retreated to my cave, as I refer to it. And it's not because anything happened. It was just a feeling that I wanted to have some time to myself away from other people's energy. So it could be any of those possibilities. Can't really tell at this point in the reading. The card in the past position is the Ten of Pentacles, and it's really interesting to start with that card because it means that we're talking about a time in this person's life when they really were slaying it in terms of the material world, because I tend to see this as the having it all sort of having it all message, in a card. So this person had a family, a career, financial stability, a solid reputation, the respect of other people, and so on. So they were doing really well. And it's also a card, the Ten of Pentacles, that's about legacy. So it can be obviously talking about generational wealth, or just that this person is, does so well for themselves that they'll still be spoken about after they're gone because they made a significant contribution to their family or their community. So it's something that goes beyond their life, basically. So that's pretty impressive, even if it's in the past position. This person has done very well. Now, in the present position, we have the Knight of Swords, and this is the fastest knight because he's related to the element of air. So this is air sign energy. I tend to think of Gemini with this card. So this knight is rushing, but looking at my spread, which tends to go past, present, future as we go from left to right, this knight is rushing backwards. So it looks like he's revisiting the past and not the future. So that would certainly fit with the fact that we've got Virgo, the Hermit, at the bottom of the deck. So that's very interesting. Now, the Knight of Swords can also be talking about gaining rapid insights and clarity. So I feel like this person might be reflecting on the past and they've realized something. And I don't think the Ten of Pentacles is the problem, because that's not really a problem, is it? It's not a problem to be doing well in the material world. But there could be something where even though this person has accomplished the Ten of Pentacles kind of life, they've started feeling disconnected because there's something missing in terms of their emotional fulfillment. And really, when you think about it, well, I think probably the only thing that can be wrong with the Ten of Pentacles is that it's not the Ten of Cups, if you know what I mean. So the Ten of Cups is emotional fulfillment. So really, that's the only thing that can be wrong with doing really well in the material world is that if you don't have the emotional fulfillment, you'll still feel like something's missing. So I feel like maybe that they had that feeling of, this is all wonderful, but it's not really making me happy. And so maybe that's what triggered them to go into this hermit phase. And what the introspection has revealed to them is that the reason for this disconnect is because they really they feel like they want to bring something more emotionally fulfilling into their life. So this Knight of Swords, he's gained this clarity, and he's the fastest knight, as I said. So as soon as he understands something, he's going to take action to bring in the change that he sees as necessary. Like, he doesn't stuff around in that way of thinking about it too much. It's like, oh yeah, if that's the problem, this is the solution, and I'm going to go do it. Now, the first oracle card here in the spread actually shows a woman and a path. And when we look ahead on the path, we see the sun on the horizon. So the sun as a symbol in tarot is about happiness. So I'm really seeing this path as the path to happiness for this woman. She's wearing a rose print dress and she has a rose in her hair. And when you look at this path, it's lined with rose bushes. So it's very clearly it's her path, and it's the one that aligns with who she is. Now, this card is titled Part of Fortune, and it has the keyword prosperity. Now, I've got sort of an amateur interest in astrology, but the Part of Fortune is not something I knew an awful lot about. So I did go look into that. And this is actually a calculated part of your chart, and they calculate it using your ascendant, your sun and moon signs from your birth chart, basically. So there's actually, I found a Part of Fortune calculator online, and so it works out which part of my chart is the Part of Fortune part. And so it then also explained what that placement meant for me specifically. So you could certainly go and find that out for yourself. It was quite interesting. But what the Part of Fortune actually is it indicates an area of your life where you can easily experience happiness, success, and luck. And it might be something that you've always just been naturally good at. So things just have always flowed really well in that part of your life. So this was an interesting thing to look into for me, because I often think of the North Node as indicating the aligned path. But I guess the North Node is a journey where you're stepping into the unknown. And so it's unfamiliar. It's a little bit challenging in that respect. So I guess the North Node part is not necessarily the easy path, if you know what I mean. It's definitely what you're meant to explore in this lifetime, but it's not a path that necessarily feels good. And certainly in the beginning, it probably doesn't. On the other hand, the Part of Fortune sounds like it's something that does come easy and it feels good and you feel blessed as a result. So in this storyline, I'm going to say that this path this woman is on is not about the North Node. It might actually be that this person remembers something they used to do that gave them a lot of joy and pleasure, and it was effortless and they were good at it. With the rose print dress, the example that's coming to mind is someone who perhaps used to make their own clothes. So they enjoyed being able to choose a pattern and adjust it to suit them and then make it out of the fabrics that they liked. And they enjoyed that whole process, the process of sewing it, the results that they got. They were really good at this and they loved doing this, and it made them happy, and they would get a lot of compliments on their clothes and their unique style. But then they grew up and ended up, obviously, with this 10 of Pentacles, they probably ended up in a successful career, and they had a family, and they got involved in various ways in their community. And so the sewing probably stopped. And also because they've perhaps been quite wealthy, they've had the money to just buy clothes. So obviously that whole thing where they were making their own clothes just came to a halt. So that's an example, but maybe this person's introspection took them back to the happiest time of their life, and they realised that they lived in a smaller home and they had a lot less money, and they remembered that they used to make their own clothes because that was more affordable than buying clothes. And at this point, they might realise that they actually miss that life, and they especially miss making their own clothes, because it was such a fun thing for them to do, and it was so easy for them, and they had amazing results doing it. So with that example in mind, the Knight of Swords energy is going to decide that, well, if that's the thing I miss, that's the thing that needs to come back. And so they're going to go and bring back the thing that they see as the thing they always loved doing. So in this example, the woman might decide she's going to start sewing again. And if she needs to drop certain other commitments in order to find the time, then that's what she's going to do. The third oracle card here is titled The Passion Flower, and it does sort of make me think of passion flowering in someone's life. The keywords on this card are awareness and mystery. The awareness part certainly makes sense, but mystery suggests that maybe there's something else that we aren't aware of, and I'm not sure that's going to show up in this spread either, because I'm not seeing anything specific in any of the other cards. The middle oracle card does have the word rose come up again, which is interesting, because we did see a strong attraction to roses in that first card. So this card is titled Strength, and it's referring to the Rose of Mexico. I don't know too much about that, and I don't know if that's going to mean anything for anyone. But with that strength message, maybe the changes this person decides to make are going to require some strength, because, and we've got that word mystery as well. So maybe other people won't be able to make sense of what this person is trying to do, and maybe that's going to create some challenges, and they're going to have to be strong enough to kind of overcome any pushback or resistance that they might encounter. I don't know exactly, because I do get this sense of something a bit mysterious here. Now, the last card, it took me a minute to recognize what it was. For some reason, I thought it might be the Sun card or the Star card or the Ace of Pentacles, and I got a surprise when I realized it was the Eight of Wands. And as I'm saying that, I'm seeing that this actually looks a bit like a flower too, doesn't it? So there's a strong sort of floral theme here. But anyway, this is the Eight of Wands, which is about things happening or progressing really quickly. So I tend to see it as fast incoming energies. That's certainly how it's shown in the traditional image for this card. So we've got really two fast cards in the present and the future. So the Knight of Swords is someone taking swift action, and then it looks like something else is coming swiftly into their life as a result of the action they take. And this card actually does show the sun's rays, so maybe the happiness they've been looking for is coming in. Now, the Eight of Wands, as I said, in traditional images, has the wands kind of flying down towards the earth, and they're coming down and they're all sort of arranged in parallel with each other. But in this image, it looks like the wands come in from every direction, like almost like they're magnetically pulled in towards this person. And that's why we're getting that sort of shape with the radial symmetry there. And maybe that's to do with that part of fortune aspect in this reading. So maybe the choice to align with the thing that comes naturally and feels good actually brings in blessings, luck, happiness, because really that's what the part of fortune is talking about, isn't it? It's saying that this is a blessed part of your birth chart, and if you do things in that zone, you're going to attract blessings and happiness and good fortune. So very interesting. But thinking about the way these wands are arranged on this card, it did make me think, like I said, of the Sun and the Star and the Ace of Pentacles. So I do feel like those are all quite positive cards in different ways. So I do feel like there's a lot coming in that is good. And the fact that the wands are coming from different directions is quite interesting too. So it's like there might be a lot of different people or different parties that like the change this person has made. So different interested parties, if you know what I mean, and they're all kind of gravitating towards what this person is doing. So if I use that dressmaking example, maybe this is someone who turns that part of fortune interest of theirs into something that will get them a lot of attention. So with that dressmaking example, maybe they start doing online tutorials where they teach other people how to sew, how to adjust patterns, and so on. And because it's something that comes naturally to them, they're really good at explaining things, and the complex things become easy for people to follow, or because it's a natural ability they have tips on how to do things in ways that are much simpler than what other people do. And so, this person's videos are, like it attracts a lot of, it attracts a big audience, a big following. And then because that happens, then they're getting other businesses perhaps interested in promoting their products. So they might offer this person their patterns or their fabrics or their sewing machines and sewing tools, so their products get promoted in this person's tutorials, and they might even attract sponsors from those sorts of businesses. So we often do see that kind of thing with anyone who's got a strong online following, right? So maybe this person aligning with that part of fortune aspect takes them into success in sort of an entirely new venture. And maybe that's why there's a bit of mystery to this, because obviously I'm using a dressmaking example, but this could be anything. It could be any aspect of your life. It might not even have anything to do with your job. Like, it might just be something completely different that you do, but it's just going to draw in blessings from multiple directions, is what I'm feeling. And in terms of this spread, that's really all I'm seeing, so I will stop the reading here. And here we are. This is the last slide. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for watching. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like or leave a comment below. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoy my videos. And thanks to everyone, obviously, who's already subscribed. It is really nice to have your support. And that's it. Take care, everyone. I hope that I'll see you all again in another video. Bye.